The name itself, historians have theorized, is a reflection of their original homelands in West Africa. So you have a ethnic group in Nigeria called Igbo, and we believe then that that Igbo tongue is an evolution of that root word Igbo as the ethnic group.
Welcome back. We are having our third and final segment for the morning, and the conversation is all about Emancipation Day and the Igbo Town Festival. We are joined by four members. We have over here Miss Charlene Williams. She is the owner of Belize Sweets and Treats. And guys, this is definitely a treat we have here on the table.
Sweets.
Yeah. And we're also joined to my left by Miss Kim Vasquez. She is the ICA from Niche, the Craft Fair and Music.
And the director of ICA.
Yeah, the director of ICA over at Niche. And also we have Mr. Rolando Cocom. He is the director of ISCR over at Niche as well.
Good morning, thank you for
And also Giovanni Pinello, also from Niche, on behalf of ISCR.
That's right. Morning.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Yes.
Wanted to get all the titles correct.
Right? You know, some people feel when they're getting butchered and hear my title.
All right, so we're here to talk about Emancipation Day and the Igbo Town Festival. So perhaps we can begin on Emancipation Day. Perhaps we can start with you, Ms. Kim.
Okay, well, of course, it is celebrated on the 31st of July. And we are having a state ceremony this year. Last year we had a ceremony, a community ceremony at the Yabra Green. And so this year, per the minister's request, we are having a state ceremony, which is fantastic because, you know, now we are seeing, like I said, it has been a process, right? And my colleagues will speak more to the road of how we celebrated Emancipation Day in Belize. But definitely it is to highlight the significance of Emancipation Day and the journey to emancipation in Belize, and how we can continue to raise the consciousness and to celebrate Emancipation Day as a Belizean community.
What will a state ceremony in this sense look like?
It will look like like other state ceremonies that we are familiar with. We reference a lot Heroes and Benefactors Day, so we will see the BDF, the inspection, the Governor General, most importantly, we will be joined by the Deputy Prime Minister, other members of government, the Diplomatic Corps, and of course representatives from various organizations that are cultural stakeholders as well.
Mr. Cocom, let's jump to you. Mr. Cocom, sorry. Let's jump to you. Igbo tongue. Where does this come from? Do we have an Igbo tongue in Belize? Tell us a bit about Igbo tongue and give us some historical context to that and how that is significant to us here in Belize.
Thank you, Paul and Sabina. Thank you so much for having us. It's an important discussion. Why do we celebrate Emancipation Day, or should we celebrate Emancipation Day? Some people might be asking. Yeah. And to answer that question, we have to look into history. We have to look into our ancestors. What did they experience? And it takes us back several hundred years, because some of the earliest records that we have of African enslavement in this space comes to us from around the early 1700s and the 1720s. The records indicate that enslaved Africans were being forced to extract logwood and later mahogany from this area and being sent off to Great Britain, as it was called at that time. Mahogany becomes much more labor intensive. It requires the settlers, the baymen, to go farther inland, and this then leads to a huge increase in the population of enslaved Africans from the 1700s all the way up to the point of emancipation in 1838. So we're talking about what, 138 years or maybe more, 150 years, because records would indicate when the first enslaved persons were observed, but they may have been here from before the 1700s. So give or take, let's say 150 years of African enslavement. And what does that mean for us today when we have a huge population as well of African descendants? And what does it mean to the political and social challenges that we face, the inequalities that we continue to face? Those are very important questions to us. Coming back to the history and the specific question of Igbo tongue, you know, this comes from a map, and I was able to bring a map for you all.
Okay, perfect.
That you can post.
Let's pull it out. Sab and I could hold up this map.
This is our class project.
Yeah.
Now, this map is dated from a Honduras almanac, a report of 1829. And in this map, if you look to your right, you will see an area designated as Igbo tongue. It looks like two blocks, two open spaces.
This and this.
Yes. And the report says that Igbo tongue was appropriated to the enslaved. It consisted of numerous yards flanked with long rows of what was called quote-unquote Negro houses.
Okay.
These quote-unquote Negro houses were comprised of separate rooms under one long roof.
We call long barracks today.
Yep.
So this area, if you could give us some context in today's time, I see the old burial ground, I see St. John's Church,
Yep.
Government House. So this looks a bit Albert Streetish area to me.
That's right.
Am I correct?
That's right.
Yes.
So you would
Okay.
have had Front Street and Back Street.
Okay.
That later renamed Regent and Albert. And Regent is now Dame Menita Gordon Avenue.
Yeah. So this is off Albert Street,
That's right.
more to the right of Albert Street.
Right.
Okay. So it was just a couple plots of land.
That's right. And
Yeah.
so as one of the snippets says, the enslaved population were never well taken care of. Of course, they saw them as property. They're there. You want to ensure that they survive to work for you. That's the main principle. So you issue out rations and so on, and the rations aren't healthy or nutritious in any way. It's just to keep you alive. And that's the type of history that we need to uncover to understand why things are the way they are. But besides that, the name itself, Igbo tongue, and you would see this reference in some of the other names that the records indicate, such as Congo Will as a name of an enslaved person. The name itself, historians have theorized, is a reflection of their original homelands in West Africa. So you have a ethnic group in Nigeria called Igbo. And we believe then that Igbo tongue is an evolution of that root word Igbo as the ethnic group. And that is where we are able to understand and appreciate why enslaved persons were placed in that area. And it would have been very swampy. It's not like what we're
right
noticing
now.
now. Belize is built upon what do we call it? A lot of recovered land. And so that is what we are noticing, is that they were placed behind the church. It was a swampy area. I mean, most of Belize was anyway.
Right. So it's off the coast.
That's right.
Yeah, a bit off the exact coast.
Right. And so what we are doing this year is very exciting as well, because we are going to elaborate on these spaces and landmarks on the day of the Igbo Tongue Festival.
Yes, we can talk about Igbo Tongue Festival now. Igbo Tongue Festival has been around about 2 or 3 years now, and I need to give recognition to members of the Creole Council, specifically Brother David, the young man Musa Shahid and his dad, who made efforts to, on a whole, Emancipation Day has been observed at the grassroots level for a number of years. And we had activists and cultural workers really pushing Emancipation Day and for us to observe it. And definitely this year with the state ceremony, we have worked to incorporate all those elements. Everything that was done when we did it informally or only at the community level has been preserved in the state ceremony. So in the state ceremony, yes, we will see the BDF and we will have the inspection of the guard and the national anthem. Those were all features before, but there were also cultural elements such as the libation ceremony. Last year we began putting wreaths in the water as well. We have kept that.